Well, hello and welcome to. Can I say something? What you got to say? What you got to say? Listen, I'm excited today because I have a guest who is going to talk to us about things that matters, and there's one thing in life that really matters, and that is our finance. He's going to share with us information on best practices for successful financial management. And my special guest today is none other than Louis Pitre. Louis, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Yolanda?
I'm great. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. It's not like I haven't heard you discuss the matters of finance because I've heard several of your sessions that you have been a part in or part of the opportunities that you have had the opportunity to share in regards to finance. So, but you can never get enough information when it comes down to talking about your money because in the twinkling of your eye, in the twinkling of an eye, your money situation can change. It can go from bad
Right.
to worse, or it can
That's
go
right.
from better to better. So,
Yes.
and I'm always looking for my financial situation to get better and better. So, once again, today we have special guest Louis Pitre, and I want my viewers to tune in and listen very carefully because Louis have a lot to say. And I'm going to ask him, Louis, do you have anything to say? What you got to say?
I sure do. I have a lot to say. And I want to thank you for this opportunity to be on your show and just to be able to share some things with your audience. The subject matter we're talking about today is something that I am passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we're talking about finance matters, your finance matters. So we're making it personal. This is something that was instilled in me as a young boy growing up with my father, teaching me about finances, how to handle money at a very, very young age. Um, I have had over a 30-year career in finance. I worked for Boeing as a senior business manager on the space shuttle program for about 28 years. Prior to that, I was in the healthcare industry and finance for about 8 or 9 years. I have a bachelor's degree. I have a master's degree. I have my MBA from the University of Redlands in California. I've worked, as I say, over 30 years in industry. I also have, I'm a certified financial coach through the Dave Ramsey teaching series. And over the years, in addition to my professional career in finance, I've had clients that I've helped with their finances. I've had businesses that I've helped manage their finances. I've had churches and individuals that I have helped consult and help with their finances. I consider myself a financial coach. These days, I'm retired. I
Mm-hmm.
retired twice.
Wow.
I retired from Boeing after so many years, and then I went and taught at the university, not at the university, but at San Jacinto College for about 8 years. I taught there, teaching finance courses, and I'm now retired for a second time. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
loving it. I'm enjoying being retired. My wife and I, we're doing what we want to do on our terms. So we're enjoying our family and our grandchildren and doing what we love to do. And along the way, I still get to do what I'm passionate about, and that
Yeah.
is to talk about finance.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm here for, to share some nuggets. And I consider myself a coach, a financial coach. And I am going to share some things that I think will be helpful for your audience. Doesn't matter what income level you're on, what your
That's what.
financial situation is, because we're all on different levels,
Uh-huh.
right? But we're going to share some things that's helpful for us, regardless of what level we're on, because on a regular basis, we have some level of finances that we have to manage,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in this case, I would say we are all financial managers of our own personal finances because it starts with us first making the right decisions with our finances.
Correct.
All right.
Okay. Now you said something about being retired, and so um, uh, I'm going to ask you this question. I want to throw this out here. First of all, I want to say is that most of the time when people say they're retired, they talk about a fixed income. And they most of the time say, well, I'm on a fixed income. As you know, I'm recently retired as well. But Louis, there was one thing that I never heard my parents say coming up, and I grew up with that same intent not to say that, and that was to not say or claim that I'm on a fixed income. And so that is one of the things, and this is just me, because I when I hear the word fix, fix to me that means it's a done deal. It can't be changed. And so personally, I say I'm on a faith income, which allows doors of all kinds to open, which allows different avenues for my income to change for the better. But we're going to use the word fixed income today. Now, I want to ask you a question though. How can I financially be successful? You said something when you was talking, you said that you have the ability to share something with everyone, regardless of what financial level they are on. Because a lot of times people who are living from paycheck to paycheck, who are on minimum wage, a lot of times they have the feeling of, well, it doesn't make sense for me to even talk to anyone about finance or my finance because I don't even make enough money to even hear what they have to say. So my question to you is, how can I be financially successful? And this is most definitely for those of us who are retired. How can we be financially successful when we are on a fixed income, or as I say, a faith income? How is that possible?
Yeah, fixed income. So there's all kinds of fixed income. We know that if you've retired, you have a pension, some kind of retirement plan that's going to pay out a certain amount of money. So in that sense, you may consider it fixed. Even if you're getting Social Security, you're getting a certain amount of money every month. We call it fixed, but even though with that, you get a cost of living increase every year. So there's multiple streams of income we can consider, some of which have a set amount that you're going to receive every month.
Yes.
Then you have others that is going to fluctuate. With that, there's really some important things to do. Whether you have a set amount of money that doesn't change too much, or whether you have additional incomes coming in, there's some things you got to do. The first thing is we must practice discipline.
Okay.
We got to make sure we're not spending carelessly. Okay. Now, here's some things to think about. I recommend everybody work with a budget. Now, that was my career, handling budgets for all those years. It is important I don't care if you're making a ton of money and you have a whole lot of money left over. It is good to have a budget. Here's the things we need to think about. We need to have a budget because there are expenses that we know are going to happen every month. Your electricity bill, your water bill, some other bills, that bill's coming every month and you pretty much have a set amount. All right. So that's got to come out of whatever level of income you have coming in. The next thing you want to think about is very important that we have contingency plans for the unexpected.
Okay.
Such as if somehow your car breaks down. Your car has been riding fine and then all of a sudden it breaks down. It's got to be paid for so you can keep driving and get around. You're going to pay for that using a couple of methods, optionally, right? You either have the cash already saved so you can pay for it without going into debt. You can just pay for it and you can keep moving. Or if you don't have the cash, you're going to use your credit card. If you do that, if you have to use a credit card, make sure you pay that bill off within the next month or so, or you're going to be paying interest on that.
Mhm.
So whatever it costs you to pay to get the car fixed, if you're not paying it off right away, then you're going to be paying more for it over time because you're being charged interest for it. Another example I could say along with that, we are halfway through the year. We've passed Christmas 2023. Christmas is coming up. Let me ask this question. Are you still paying for all those Christmas gifts you bought last December and you
Oh,
charged it?
wow. That's a good question.
Hopefully no one is in that position.
Yeah.
If you are, you need to hurry and get that paid off because guess what? Christmas is coming. All right. You always want to have a contingency plan for if your car breaks down, those special occasions like Christmas, you want to have funds set aside. Uh, Guess what? Christmas comes every year, December 25th,
Every year.
right? Every year. We know it, right? So there's no surprise there. Your birthdays, your anniversary dates, other special occasions, they come every year on a
Yeah.
certain day. I
Yeah.
know Mother's Day is every year, second Sunday in May.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I just had a
Okay.
birthday. My family knows it comes every year on a certain day. See, there are things we know that's going to happen, so we should
Already.
never be surprised.
Yeah.
So we should always have a plan in place, putting money aside. And then here's the other thing I want to say, and it's so important. There are unexpected things that come up like emergencies.
Hmm.
Perfect example. We just had Hurricane Beryl. A lot of people were without electricity
Yes.
for a pretty long period of time. Some people were without electricity for 6 days. I've talked to several people who said it got so hot and unbearable in their homes, they had to move into a hotel.
Yeah.
That was the bill they did not expect.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, okay, so how'd they pay for it? Did they have money saved up so that they could just pay for it and keep moving? Did
Yeah.
they have to charge it?
Yeah.
Now, I've been, my wife and I, our family, we've moved here in 2002. So we've been
Hmm.
here 22 years now. One of the first things we learned when we moved here is that there are weather situations here that we were not used to. And
Woo.
we had to learn quickly. Now, I'm not from this area, so a lot of people laugh at me when I tell them if it's a category 2 or above, we leave, we evacuate. Here's my philosophy. Hurricanes and all that stuff happens at the hottest time of the year, right?
Yes.
And most of the time when it comes, even if you don't get major damage at your home, you're going to be without electricity for a while. You'll
Yes.
be without essential services like grocery store items, gasoline, restaurants, things like that. I don't
Hmm.
want to stay here and be miserable and go through all that.
Yeah.
So what I do personally, I make sure I have a regular contribution into my savings account that covers my planned expenses. I
Hmm.
make sure I'm covering those unexpected things like car repairs.
Yeah.
I make sure you never know the extent of damage you'll get hit with off of a hurricane, but you can offset the impact of the cost of it. So as
Hmm.
long as you're putting money aside for that, then when those things occur, you've got the money already there. You've been saving it all along, and you can pay cash for it, and you don't have to blink. You can keep going.
Yeah.
And in fact, we've evacuated 4 times now. Now,
Really?
people laugh at me. They say, well, why? Well, I tell them my philosophy, right? Um, but that's what we do. But guess what? I never charge it. It never goes on my credit cards, things like that. I've got the cash for it. I can pay for it, and we can
Yeah.
keep going. Along the way, you have your dreams, your goals, life goals, financial goals. You want to buy a home. Somebody in your audience may have a dream of buying a really nice home one day, a better car. You have nice vacations you want to take. You want to do other things with your money. If you never put money aside for those things, you're going to have a challenge achieving those financial goals. So whatever level of income you have, the best thing to do is rather than keep those thoughts in your head as far as how you're going to pay for it, write it down.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
what, and we call that making a budget. A budget is simply a listing of all of your revenue that's coming in,
Hmm.
how many different financial streams there are. You're going to write it down, how much is coming in every month. Next, you're going to write down all of your expenses that you have. right? You're going to take a look at everywhere your money is going. And you got to remember, if you're sitting down with someone doing it, or just yourself, this is for you. So the best thing you do is be honest with yourself. If you know you're spending $25 every week at Starbucks,
Yeah.
write it down.
Now.
Don't say, well, I really don't have to, but I just want to. But what
Yeah.
are you actually doing? See,
Yeah.
writing it all down allows you to see all of your opportunities, meaning your income that's coming in, regardless of if your income is fixed or not. And then the next section, expenses, it allows you to truly see on paper where all of your money is going. And then you start thinking for yourself, do I really need to spend that much money on this item? Is
Yeah.
there an
Yeah.
area that I can cut back on? Right?
Yeah.
Those are things that causes you to think. And then that's how you start finding out how to pay for these things, like you mentioned earlier. Because a lot of people say, I've heard people say budgets don't work, or people say, I don't have the money to save or put aside a certain amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, with everything, there's an effort required.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a Christian. I'm saved. There are scriptures that help me biblically
Yeah.
with my philosophy on this. Right? I'll give you a few.
Okay.
Proverbs 27 and 23. It really puts us in a direction to let us know that we should know what's going on with our finances. We should know. It says, be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks and look well to thy herds. Or you take that to modern day, we should know what's going on with our affairs. Is your car in good running shape? Do you have enough money in your bank account to buy that next high purchase item? Things like that. So you want to pay attention. You want to know what's going on. Are there things in your home that need to be repaired? Do you have too much debt out there you're paying too much interest on, and you need to pay that off? So know the state of your affairs. I'll give you another one. As
Okay.
regards to planning and budgeting. Habakkuk 2 and 2, it says, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables, that he may run that readeth it. When you write it down, now you've got a visual. It's not just in your head anymore, and subject to forget. Okay,
Yeah.
you've written it down, you keep it before you, and now it becomes your action plan. So, and
Okay.
you can move from that position of saying I can't afford this, or to you can move from that position to saying yes, I can afford it. Yes, this goal is achievable. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's how you get to the point of getting to a place where you can afford to do certain things, and things that you're dreaming about can become a reality. Again, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what level you're on, but you have to take action. There are things we all need to do.
Mm-hmm.
The third scripture I'll give you comes from Luke 14 and 28, and it has to do with knowing our numbers. Can you really afford that $50,000 car on your income? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that scripture says, don't begin until you count the cost, for who would begin construction of a building without first calculating the cost to see that there's enough money to finish it?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Listen, those are three scriptures that help me in any time, whenever I set out to do something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can be in a position where you always have so much money left over to where maybe you feel like you don't need a budget. You always got that much money. But guess what? If you're in that position, God has just blessed you to be in a position to where you can do more. You can do better. You have a greater capacity than others to be able to do more. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And for some that's not necessarily in that position, that's still an opportunity for us to do better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are some guiding principles that help me, and what I like to share with other people. And it's the fulfilling time for me is when I see people achieving their financial goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
enough just for me to fulfill my goals. I know what to do. I've had a career working in it. I've worked it in the corporate world. I've applied it to our own finances personally. But when I can see others benefiting from what I share for them and seeing them achieving them, guess what? I celebrate with them
Yeah. 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 I can
because it
imagine.
works. Right.
It works. It works. Okay. Now I want to ask you this question. I heard something about I've heard you mention in some of your other conferences and classes, something about the 50-20-30 budget rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the key. 50, 20,
Mhm.
and 30.
Yeah. So that has to do with budgeting. A lot of people say, well, what's a good strategy? What are the guidelines or what's the structure
Uh-huh.
for how all of your bills should be going out? We know we have housing expenses, we have utilities, we have entertainment. We like to dine out. Hey, I'm a foodie. I love to eat out a lot. I
Yeah,
got to make
yeah,
sure my budget covers it. So
yeah.
here's a simple guideline as it pertains to that 50-30-20 rule.
Okay. We
What
listening?
is, I'm sorry?
I say we're listening.
Okay, what it says is 50% of all of your expenses
Hmm.
should be allocated to your needs. So
Okay.
what are your needs? Shelter,
Yes,
right? Clothing.
yes,
You have to eat, right? You got to
yeah.
pay those utility bills, your mortgage, things like that. You need transportation. Those are things we need. Mixed in there is, what level is your need, right?
Hmm.
I don't need to go to Mastro's every week
Yeah.
for dinner. For those in your audience who know about Mastro's or Eddie V's or any of those other high-end restaurants, I
Yeah.
don't need to go there every week. I want to go there every week. It's good eating. It's
Yeah,
not a
but
need, right? So you need to make sure in that 50% are your needs and whatever your lifestyle is, right? We are all on different lifestyles, but whatever it is, we also have different levels of income,
hmm
right? To fulfill those needs. But whatever level you're on, 50% says your needs should fit that category. Okay.
hmm
20% should go towards savings.
hmm
By savings, I mean any combination of money you're going toward that you're contributing towards your retirement plan, right? And then within that 20%, another portion going towards regular savings. So let's break that down. 20%. Let's say you got 12% or so that you're contributing on a regular basis to your retirement. During your
Okay.
productive years while you're working, and I hope if some of your listeners are in high school, fresh out of high school, in college, fresh out of college, you're never too young to start your retirement. Because
Yes.
guess what? You're not going to work your whole life.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm retired and we're operating on our own terms, right?
Hmm.
At some point, you're going to stop working and you're going to retire. And if
Hmm.
you think you're going to depend on Social Security to support you in your retirement age, you're wrong.
Hmm.
Social Security does not have enough funds to support you during your retirement years. So that's why you need to be contributing to a retirement plan that's offered by your employer. If you work for someone that does not offer a retirement plan, you can still go to your banking institution and open 401k or some other plan.
Hmm.
The beauty with if your employer is offering it, a lot of times they will match up to a certain extent your contributions. So if you're starting young at a very young age in your 20s or whatever, putting a decent amount away every month out of your paycheck, by the time you retire, you are a multimillionaire
Can you
because
imagine?
because when you keep putting that money away and not taking it away, but
Mhm.
constantly drawing on, it is earning interest on it. The dividends that you earn over it periodically, you pour it right back into it. So it's going to grow.
Mhm.
It's going to grow exponentially. It's going to keep growing over the years and years and years, 20, 30 years, doing your production for years. So by the time you've put in a good 30, 35 or 40-year career, you are a multi-millionaire traveling where you want to travel, living the lifestyle you want to live. Because while you're working, you see, you have enough money to support a lifestyle that you like. When you
Mhm.
retire, you want to maintain that lifestyle, or maybe have an even better one. So
Mhm.
within that 20%, let's say it's about 12, let's split it evenly, 10-10. 10% towards your retirement plan, 10% towards your savings, because that's got to cover your unexpected expenses
Yeah.
that we already talked about, your
Yeah.
emergencies, your car breakdown, things like that, and your dreams, your dreams and your goals for the future.
Yeah.
You want to go, you want to take some nice vacation, you want to buy some nice fancy car, nice house. You want to fulfill those financial goals for yourself. And that's why you want to be saving on a regular basis. Now, I said 20%. Now, it doesn't have to be 20% because everybody's different. If
Everybody's
you're in a
different.
situation where you can't fit 50% for your needs, maybe yours is 60%. If so, then maybe your savings need to drop a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The third area is 30% to your wants. What do you want?
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
those are the things. Okay, yeah, I'd like to get a mani-pedi once a month. Do I
Mm-hmm.
need one? No, but I want
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to be able to fit in some of those nice things because hey, we're living. We want to enjoy life. We don't
Yeah.
just want to work and work and work and not enjoy the fruits of our labor. So we want to fit in some of those wants. I may want that mani-pedi once a month. I may want to take a trip to Disney World next year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a want.
Mm-hmm.
So your 30%, you want to make sure you're covering all that. All
Yeah.
those little things, you want to, that's the 50, 20, 30. Your
Yeah.
needs, your savings, your wants. You got to clearly define what's a need versus a want so that you
Mm-hmm.
make it all fit. If those particular categories you can't fit that, then you just readjust it so that
Mm-hmm.
you fit your lifestyle and that you never spend more than what you're bringing in. That's just a basic rule of thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Never spend more than what you're bringing in. Always have money left over.
Yeah.
Always. If you
Always.
have to charge something, pay it off the next month. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
listen, I go for as many discounts and points as I can find.
Yeah.
I use a credit card that pays me points. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna pay me for using that card. So I will use it, but guess what? I'll use it to charge it to get the points, but I pay it off before the month is over
Yeah.
so that I don't carry any balances forward. My
Yeah.
money is working for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My investments are working for me. And that's what we want. We want all those things working for us and we're taking advantage of it so that we don't end up being in significant debt and long-term debt and things like that. Listen, you wonder why they got all those big fancy buildings downtown and all those institutions. They're making money off of a lot of people. Sure, they're making it off of how they invest our money, but also on people that carry all that debt year after year after year, high interest rates. A lot of people charging them 25% interest, 30% interest. Get rid of that. You
Yeah.
know, we become slave holders to debt, and we don't
Yes.
want to do that.
Yeah.
We want to leverage debt to the best of our ability so that it works for us. As I mentioned, I will charge something, but I pay it right off because I want those points. And guess what? With all that money that you're accumulating from them paying you for using their charge, you can use that money for something else.
Yeah.
Use it to go out to that fancy restaurant. Use it to go buy some special gift or something, right?
Yeah.
I listen, my wife will tell you, I will use as many discounts and points as I can find.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And just because we're retired and have multiple streams of income coming in, I'm managing it. Listen, steward. God
Yeah.
made me a steward over what he has given me. And
And
I've
the
got to
people are
be,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, I've got to be responsible with it.
Yeah.
I've got to
Yeah.
show that I'm doing well with what God is giving me.
Yeah.
And I've got a family, and so that's how I operate my personal finances.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you said something about needs, and I think a lot of us mess up. Well, I'm not going to speak for me. I mess up with my needs and my wants.
Mhm.
I if I want something, now my husband, he's real good. He can go a long time for a need, and focus on a need. But for me, if I want it or if I feel like I need it, I go after it. And
Yeah,
so I was getting ready to ask you the question, why do people struggle with managing their finance?
I hear you. I hear you, and I'm sure many in your audience and even myself have been in that spot before. Uh, it all comes down to, I think, our own value system, because we all see things that we want. Okay, there's a certain purchase I'm looking at right now that I really want.
Mm-hmm.
Don't necessarily need to do it, but
Mm-hmm.
I want it. Okay, okay. But let me say this about wants. And we have to be, I mentioned the D word earlier, discipline.
Yeah.
If we're going to put a plan in place how we're going to manage our finances, then we have to have the discipline in place to stay with the plan.
Yeah.
Now, does it mean that plan, and that plan is your budget, right? Does it
Yeah.
mean that plan has to be so restrictive to where it doesn't allow you any flexibility? We're
Mm-hmm.
human. There are things we want. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we don't necessarily need it, but there's things we want.
Yeah.
So the way to get around it, to satisfy your want, cut back in another area,
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't overall overspend.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cut back. Just find something you can cut back on. Discipline. We need to make sure we exercise discipline, but also
Yeah.
understand there is some flexibility that
Yeah.
helps us along the way.
Yeah.
Patience. It takes patience. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't have patience. We are a microwave society. We want what we want, and we want it right now.
Right now.
We don't want to wait another day, another week, another month. And that's the challenge with working to a budget. We say we're saving towards something, we need to get something, and it takes so long for it to add up and get there. We're tired of waiting. We want it now.
Yeah.
But in order for things to happen, depending on what it is and how well your planning is, some things take a while. So
Yeah.
we got to have patience to allow our plan to work. I've seen it so many times with myself and with others. When we say we have these financial goals in place and when we put our savings in place to make it happen, do you know how good that feels when we achieve that
Oh
financial
yeah.
goal?
Oh
And to
yes.
realize we purchased it or put out that money towards it, and then to realize it's paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, we were last year, someone asked us in 1 month's notice to go with them on a trip to Hawaii
Mm-hmm.
with a group.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife and I got so excited and we were grateful for the invitation. We went to Hawaii, one
Mm-hmm.
month's notice. Guess what? Because I have a finance plan already in place,
Mm-hmm.
always saving on a regular basis, pay cash for it. Came home
Uh-huh.
off the trip, didn't owe a thing.
Uh-huh. What
That's
are
not
the
nothing. I'm not bragging. I'm just
uh-huh.
talking about, I'm just giving an example
Be
on how
done.
your financial plan can work for you.
Can be
If you're
done.
always putting those things aside, allowing the patience and the discipline, then when these
Mm-hmm.
things come up unexpected or when those wants come in, see,
Mm-hmm.
you can do it and it won't hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to say, so you got to have the self-control. Got to have that self-control that you got to impose. You know, uh, a lot of times we just splurge. Just got to have it. Impulse buying.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to have it. We
Oh,
gotta get that impulse buying under control. That's where
yeah.
your discipline and your self-control is going to come in, which will help you in those moments when that impulse kicks in and you just got to have it. Take a deep breath, go walk around the block, do
Mm-hmm.
some, do something to calm yourself down, right? Because if we don't, remember, it's our personal finances that's at stake,
Yeah.
and we will find ourselves saying, "I don't have the money." I don't use those words anymore. For a
Mm-hmm.
long time, I didn't like those words, and I didn't like hearing people say it. We all have money.
Mm-hmm.
You, myself, your listeners, everybody has money. It's just a matter
Mm-hmm.
of what we're spending it on.
What
It's
was how
just a
we
matter of
do?
how we're managing our money.
Yeah.
So I don't like saying that I don't have money. In fact, there was a time some years ago when I didn't even like the way my finances were going.
Mm-hmm.
I felt didn't have enough money left over to save like we wanted
Mm-hmm.
to. What we're not achieving financial goals and things like that in the long run, short run. I
Mm-hmm.
had kids coming up, things we
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do. And I just stopped them in tracks. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, this is not God's will for my
Yeah.
finances.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
sought the scriptures more. I prayed more. some things you just got to call it out,
Yeah.
right? Put it on the
Yeah.
spot. It was a direct conversation directed at me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I start really practicing good discipline, self-control, not giving in to those impulsive buying things, and those scriptures I gave you earlier, really are putting it to heart, everything changed,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I've stayed consistent over the long run. And that's why I am able to share with people what I share right now. And I can say it works. Because
Yeah.
not only can I say it, see, I can tell it from experience.
Yeah.
I've worked at it, I've applied it
Walking
in the
in it.
corporate world, and I've applied it personally.
Yeah. You're walking in it. It's a
Right.
part of your
And
life.
I have had clients that have used the same methods
Yeah.
as well. And I'm not advertising, I'm not promoting for any business or anything. We're just talking about best practices.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope my viewers heard enough. And not only heard it, but received what you were saying today, Lewis. What you said today is a lot of information that can help someone to do better. And like I said when we started, it's all about a matter of wanting to do better. And you made it perfectly clear. It doesn't matter where you start at, how much you have, but it matters how you discipline yourself with
Yes.
that you have. And so I hope and pray that my viewers on today received what you said. And I just want to be a witness that what you said and the practices that you use, that's all I know you by. That's all I know you by. And it really, really does work.
Right.
And so it really makes a difference. Lewis, I really thank you for being on the show today. I appreciate you, and I hope and pray that the viewers receive something. It doesn't matter what your financial dollar sign or your financial situation is. You have to start somewhere. And I
That's
like the
correct.
point that you made. Now, if somebody had told me to start putting $5, $10 back when I started my first job, can you imagine where I would be today? But it's never
Yeah.
too late
Never.
to
It's
make.
never too late.
Yeah, it's never too
Yeah.
late to make your finance matter. And so
Yeah.
thank you, Louis
Sure.
Priest. And
May I give you a few little closing comments? Just a few
sure,
little closing comments. First of all, I want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity to share with your audience. I think you have a great program. I've had a chance to tune in on occasion, and I'm just thankful to be a part of what you're trying to do here and just educating people. Let me just say, patience, discipline, those are all good things. Having a good plan, those are all good. They all work together, right?
mhm,
There's plenty of flexibility there to help you achieve all those goals we talked about. But I
mhm.
would say also surround yourself with people that are thinking like you
Yes,
financially. Surround
yes,
yourself with people who are more knowledgeable than you are on finances so that you can learn from them, right? Get
yes,
yourself a good financial advisor.
yeah,
If you don't know of one yet, ask around for a good financial advisor. Get a
yeah,
good accountability partner. If you're married, your spouse is a good financial accountability partner. If that doesn't work, if you're single, what have you, there's always someone around you
someone.
that you know that can help be a good financial accountability partner. Uh,
Mhm.
because that way someone's kind of helping you as you're trying to keep yourself in check. They're helping you as well, and then others may know of just some more things that you can apply that you're not aware of,
Yeah,
right? We all have a level of knowledge and some smartness about us, but there's always someone who knows more than we do.
yeah,
So I would
yeah,
say surround yourself with some good people. Be a sponge. Soak up all that financial knowledge. Don't make your plan so restrictive to where you can't live a comfortable life. There's always flexibility in there, but you will achieve your goals better if you have a plan and you insert that self-control and discipline and have patience.
wow, wow. Well, thank you, Louis, for those tips. You
You're
heard it,
welcome.
viewers. Take it, run with it, share with others on how they can be successful in their financial situation. Once again, your finance matters with Louis Pitre. Thank you, Louis. And
You're welcome.
I look forward to possibly having you back
All
in
right.
the
I
near
look
future.
forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. All
All right.
right. This is, can I say something? What you got to say? I see my guests and my viewers the next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.